Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am fucked up beyond all recognition, and many of you have probably heard at this point about the THQ bankruptcy scandal. Not really a scandal, but newsworthy event. I have some very interesting information here on exactly what's going to happen to which franchises that I figured you'd probably know about. First up, Sega has purchased the Relic series of games for $26.6 million, and ZeniMax is acting as a backup bidder at $26.3 million, but more than likely we'll see Sega buying it on this one. Now, what does that mean? Well, from a gameplay perspective, not much. Sega has done fine with game development. If you don't understand, just give a look at the Total War series. They're fine in terms of games, but what's not good here is that if you're a YouTuber, if you make gaming videos on the internet, Relic is now going to pose as a problem if you were looking to record it, because recently Sega has been removing footage of some of their games, and by removing I mean without warning, going to your channel, having your video taken down, and for every taken down video, 1 copyright strike is on your account. Now it's 3 strikes you're out, so if you have 3 videos, you're pretty fucked. If Relic ends up following these same standards that Sega is setting, it means that when you purchase this, uploading will be a terrible, terrible idea. I don't know if ZeniMax has a similar standing. I'm not too familiar with what ZeniMax does. Now, the big one. These are 2 of the big ones. Volition and Metro franchise, the entire Metro franchise, are being sold for $22.3 million and $5.8 million, respectively, to the Koch Media. Koch Media, for those unfamiliar with them, published Dead Island. They also published a number of games that you may or may not have heard of, including Stalker, Clear Sky, and Anno 1701, which they co-published with Sunflowers. Now, looking through their list of games, I'm noticing a couple really not good signs, and that's that they seem to have a lot of games you've never heard of that are sequels. By which I mean they have a lot of 2s and a lot of 3s to games you've never heard of that I don't think have been very successful. For example, Sacred 2, The Fallen Angel, Sacred 3, tentative title, which there is no Sacred 1 listed in their stuff. They have Spellforce 2, no Spellforce. They have The Guild 2, which was co-published with Joe Wood, and no Guild. They also have several others. Wildlife Park 2, which I've never heard of, and I'm sure you haven't either. But guess what? No Wildlife Park 1. So it seems like they're buying up a lot of things and making sequels to them, which probably isn't a good sign given that you've never heard of any of them. Moving on, this is the one that I'm really excited for. I'm sure you're familiar with Homefront, in that you've heard of it, but never played it. That seems to be the standard with that game. Homefront, I don't think ended up making a profit, which was kind of saddening to me, because I thought it had a rather interesting idea of a campaign, albeit there are some major plot holes. For $50,000, no, sorry, not $50,000, $500,000, Crytek has decided to purchase Homefront. This is opening the door to so many possibilities. I see Crytek as turning Homefront into a Crisis-style shooter of some kind. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't work at Crytek. I have to admit that. I don't work at Crytek. But seeing as both Far Cry 1, which was developed by Crytek, and Crysis, also developed by Crytek, fairly obviously, they were some of the best shooters ever made. So I'd really like to see what they do with Homefront. However, the low price point comparatively of only $500,000, everything here was upwards of $10 million at least, except for THQ Montreal, but we'll get to that later. Which means that it's possible Crytek just bought this as saying, yeah, we'll get it for now, and maybe we'll do something with it. That's why they didn't put up a huge price point for it. But I'd really like to see them do something with this. Anyway, moving on. Take-Two has been purchased by Evolve for $10.8 million, and they outbidded the game's developer, Turtle Rock. the game's developer was actually looking to purchase the rights to their own franchise. That would be, again, Turtle Rock. But it appears that Evolve has bought the franchise, and they may take on Turtle Rock. We don't know yet. Now, here's an interesting one. Ubisoft has decided to purchase THQ Montreal for $2.5 million. This THQ Montreal is responsible for the game The South Park: The Stick of Truth being a thing. Seeing as it's THQ Montreal, and seeing as Ubisoft's biggest studio is also in Montreal, I see this as a possible THQ Montreal, Ubisoft Montreal merging. Ubisoft Montreal, mind you, was one of the main people behind Assassin's Creed. Would it not be hilarious if South Park and Assassin's Creed cross paths? That's probably not going to happen, but I still say it'd be hilarious. Anyway, apparently, just to wrap things up, some assets, including THQ's publishing businesses and Vigil, along with a few other unnamed intellectual properties, are not have not been sold yet. They're trying to find buyers for those, but it's possible they won't get any for them. Anyway, thanks for listening to me, and make sure you like and favorite this video if you liked and or favorited it. Make sure you comment if you have something to say, specifically on the Crytek purchasing Homefront, because I'd like to hear other opinions on that one specifically. And follow me on social networks. All of them, including Twitter. I got one of those. See ya.